Howdy folks, my name is Johniki.
And this is a very cozy cat.
And together we are Catamancy Tarot. So, welcome to a basket video. It's the time of the month where I go through my collection, curate a little bit of a vibe for us, and show you what I've been working with. So, the theme for today is actually a tag, and it's a tag that's been around for a minute. This is Nightshade Tarot's My Cozy Decks. And, you know, we've had the autumn equinox, we're going into cozy season. I hadn't done this tag yet, and I figured now was the perfect time to do it. So I put on my new cozy sweater, and I'm going to take you through a couple different types of cozy decks. So get cozy, get some tea, maybe a blanket, perhaps a fluffy companion, and I'm going to take you through some of my coziest decks. So here we go.
Alrighty, welcome to Cozy Land. I thought I would bring out my autumnal quilt. Nothing cozier than a autumnal quilt. So the way I've done this is I've broken up my idea of cozy decks into 5 different cozy categories, and I'm going to show you a group of decks for each category. So my first of my 5 cozy categories is what I call my bedtime story decks. So I've got 4 of them right here. And what I mean by bedtime story is they're a little medieval themed, they're a little fantasy themed, and they just feel really cozy. And these are often decks I'll leave by my bedside table. So I'll go ahead and show you. I think I'll only show you a couple at a time. If you've watched my channel this summer, you'll know this pair already. This is the first edition of the Solara Occulta Tarot, which has these lovely, lovely gold borders, which I actually love. And then this is a French oracle deck called the Marvelous Medieval Oracle. Yep, that's what it's called. And it's got these lovely backs. And I think that these decks are a match made in cozy heaven. And they both have these kind of gold borders. And these are decks that I will reach for at bedtime. And there's something about the kind of like cozy story vibes. So this Marvelous Medieval oracle has a lot of kind of like enchanted imagery. So they both just feel kind of like very cozy, very nurturing. They make for good like story time, like bedtime stories, you know? You know about those. That's what this deck combo feels like. And this deck combo is also very, autumnal in its color scheme. Oh, I love this combo. We've got the High Priestess, and then we've got these kind of like dream premonitions coming out of her forehead. Isn't that great? So I feel like there's ways to kind of like build a very cozy narrative with these types of decks. Like, come on, there's nothing cozier than a castle. And I often sometimes I'm able to see, like, I imagine that this is this is the zoomed far away, and this is like the castle up close. So I think yeah, these are just these are just like absolute coziest, and I love them very much. And they're also great kind of like for autumn, but they've been at my bedside like constantly since I got them. And then on that kind of similar theme, 2 other very, very cozy decks. I've actually never seen these together, so this will be kind of silly. We've got the Agor Tarot, which is a Piatnik deck from 1992, made by a Russian artist. And then we've got this one, which is my heavily modded version of the Dragon Tarot. And let's see what they look like together. They both have these sort of like fantastical creatures in it. Whether it's these, I mean, in this one it's all dragons all the time, but this one's got a chartreuse horse. And so the Agor tarot feels very, very Russian folklore, which I still think is like, it still has excellent bedtime story vibes, whereas the Dragon Tarot has, you know, it's a little bit Lord of the Ringsy. It's a little bit, you know, if you're into epic medieval fantasy, it's giving like Robin Hobb, Realm of the Elderlings vibes. And it's this kind of, yeah, they both have this like very, very folksy, very comforting. And I don't actually hate them together. I've never actually used them in tandem before. But one thing I like about this deck is it is a pip deck, but the pips have these kind of like expansive landscapes. And if you watch my video in which I show you how I modded this deck, you'll see me kind of lay out the landscapes. And one thing that's kind of fun is they're sort of contiguous. So they'll make one big sort of panorama if you lay them out in sequence, which is really kind of fun. And it has that kind of, you know, laying out a story arc. Yeah, and then this one, remember when we were all doing that one deck Gone Wild tag? This is the deck I used to explore that one. So if you were curious about this deck and want to see more, go check out that video. All right, so those were my cozy bedtime decks. Do you guys have bedtime story decks? Are you guys doing that? So that's my first category. Sort of continuing with, you know, some of the themes in the first category. The second category is what I would call my weird medieval guys. My weird medieval guys decks. And I also, one of my basket videos was all about all of my medieval decks. So this is just kind of a little recap. If you like what you're seeing here, you can go check that one out. But like we saw with, you know, the Marvelous Medieval Oracle and kind of like the Dragon Tarot, these two decks are kind of giving medieval tapestry. So these two decks are, we've got the Serpent and the Peacock, and I've got the first edition. There's a second edition that came out on Kickstarter, and the cards are actually, in the second edition, I think they're oracle sized, and they've revamped some of the images. And I was kind of, you know, got a little FOMO, you know, changing it up. But I really dig the white borders. Like, I like this, this size and this font for this kind of imagery. And I think there's some like digitally improved cards, that are kind of fun, that I'm missing out on. But what you gonna do? I guess you can catch them all, but that's perhaps not my goal. And so this kind of cozy is like old school medieval tapestry cozy. Like, can you imagine you're in a little castle, you've got some tapestries on the wall, you know, you go down to the great hall for supper, and there's just some, like, you know, rustic bread and stew. That's pretty cozy, right? I'd say that's pretty cozy. So that's the kind of vibe that these decks are giving. And also, silly guys, silly medieval guys are totally cozy. You know, they've got silly things going on. This poor guy's covered in leeches. Maybe that's not so cozy, but I feel like these guys, these silly dudes, I don't know, there's something very, very sort of storybook again about these two decks. So those are my first kind of silly medieval guys. And my other two that I'll go ahead and show you are, we have the Oracle Baline, which is a historical French oracle deck. It's very cool. It was originally published in 1845. And then this is probably my favorite of my Marseille decks, which is the Piatnik. And we're in for more kind of like off-white. I feel like this kind of off-white tan color is a cozy color. Like, you know, stark white isn't cozy, but your off-whites, your beiges are quite cozy. And so here we're seeing some kind of traditional imagery, and there's something, you know, something to be said for the coziness of tradition, perhaps. And so I feel like these are both very cozy. Oh, I'm feeling pretty cozy. I think it's working. I think it's working. I think these, I don't know if I've used these two together recently, and they look great together, don't they? I think they do. I think I'm gonna have to get these out. I mean, they're in my basket, so they're out now. But I'm excited about getting cozy with these guys. And I think this, look at his face. I always think he looks like a walrus. He's a little cross-eyed, a little toothless, very cozy. In any case, that concludes my cozy medieval guys category. So that means we get to move along to our third cozy category. Just moving some things around over here. And if our last category was kind of, you know, thinking about tapestries on the walls, this one's a little bit more about like actual quilts and fabric and getting cozy that way. So this category, I feel like these are my nurturing decks. These decks are very, very nurture forward. I think, you know, we talk about gentle decks or we talk about hug decks. I think another way to be cozy is to have decks that are just like very soft and very nurturing. And I think some of my my softies, my softy nurtury guys. And carrying forward this idea of like tapestry and quilts, we have the Road to Nowhere Oracle, which is my all-time fave Oracle deck, which is sadly out of print. But look at the inside of this box. Don't you just want to like build a pillow fort inside of there and just curl up? I do. I certainly do. So these are the backs. This is the booklet. Oh, so cozy. And then this one, I made this really cozy pouch. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased with this pouch. It's got these little cozy little bird friends, and it's an absolutely perfect match for the Enchanted Tarot. This is the new edition. It's actually called the Zerner Farber Tarot, which is a new edition of this deck, which has been around since the 90s in many different printings. But since this deck is actual fabric collage, I felt like it you know, it would go with this one, which is, you know, kind of patchwork quilty. But the size difference, would maybe make me not want to pull them at the same time, but we're going to look at them together and see what that does for us. In the Zerner Farber Tarot, or the Enchanted Tarot, the suit of cups is renamed as hearts, which is very cozy. Even, even cards like the devil feel a lot cozier. It's a very soft. Look at these guys, just a bunch of softies. Ooh, I like this combo. This combo is very cool. But I think the Zerner Farber, like if you follow Amy and Monty on Instagram, they have the cutest, they post the cutest stuff. They're this, adorable couple giving you hot tips of how to live in the enchanted world. I'd go ahead and give them a follow. And both of these, just feel very, very gentle. When I'm feeling like really, really overstimulated or really, really sensitive or just really in my feelings, and like other decks are just going to be way too harsh, and I just, just need a little bit of a gentle hand. Both of these are ones that I would reach for, but particularly this deck. There's something very cozy about. I feel like in general, oracles are cozier than tarot. I don't know. We can dispute this. We can talk about that. But yeah, these are both very cozy, very, very cozy. Up next in this kind of gentle nurturing category are two decks that featured in my last basket video as a pair, and I'm going to show them as a pair again today. And that's the Wild Alchemy Lab. It's an astro-botanical deck, so it's a plant deck, and I feel like this is a very cozy little guidebook. I love that color. And then this is if the Road to Nowhere Oracle was my all-time fave Oracle, this is my all-time fave tarot deck, and it's the Spolia, and we've seen her here before, and we'll see her here again. But these two I've been obsessed with recently as a pair. Again, they have this kind of like cream border thing going on. Ooh, look at these guys. Look at those tendrils. Cream, very cozy. And Spolia is a deck that I've just had for so long. It's my main deck. It's if I could only have one, it would be an easy choice, and it would be this one. Ooh, look at these together. Aren't they so pretty? And the kind of the voice that comes through this deck, through kind of like the guidebook. It's my favorite little white book in the whole wide world. And then the sort of plant remedies with the Spolia have just been like really, really great for me recently. And I feel like, what's more nurturing than a little plant medicine, right? You gotta have, sometimes you just need a little something from the plant friends. And I feel like their kind of overall messages go really well together. I've been enjoying kind of figuring out and reading kind of the astrological correspondences that are provided here. But this is another extremely, extremely nurturing combo. I like these together. These are quite fun. I will say that this deck doesn't have like the best information, mostly because it's a remedy deck. So the backs are mostly just a recipe, so recipe cards, and I've mainly been using them for divination. So it gives you a little something. It's pretty. I think if you already have a ton of plant knowledge and know-how and you have a lot of relationship with a lot of these guys already, then you'll be all set to go. But if you're kind of like a newbie just getting into it, like perhaps I am, I want a little bit more. I want to know a little bit more. But I've still been really digging this combo. So that concludes our third category of cozy decks, which was the nurturing guys, right? And it looks like we've got 2 more categories. So we just did the nurturing. The next category is like fall decks for fall. And I don't know about you guys, but these feel very they feel very fall to me, and I think there's something about the color scheme that we've got going on. So we've got these like jewel tones, this dark green, and this is probably my favorite color, this kind of like burgundy eggplant with some like golds running through. I think there's some folks I've seen have like an amazing autumnal aesthetic going on. I'm thinking of Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot's fall decks. I'm thinking of Krista from Crochet Witch Tarot. I feel like they've both got like really good curated like fall vibey decks. And I feel like none of these are like super explicitly fall. So maybe it's just me. But I really like, I don't know, I really dig them. I'm not sure, I haven't thought through which 2 I'm gonna show you at the same time here. Well, I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way, perhaps. So these both feel fall to me also because they feel a little bit back to school-y, and I'll explain. These both, they don't live currently with the rest of my decks. These both live in my office, my home office, which is where I do a lot of writing. And if you watched my my recent video on how to use tarot to support a writing practice, these are both decks I use explicitly for that, so that's why they live in my office. I've been using them quite a bit in that context. So I feel like back to school season is autumn, but there's something about the color scheme, especially in the William Blake Tarot, which I love. I think the William Blake Tarot also gets cozy marks for having the weird medieval guys, which has been an earlier theme that we have explored that might make something cozy. And in terms of the Adapt Tarot, I think there's a lot of like butterflies and moths and like mushrooms and nature stuff. And for some reason, I don't know, I think I first got it in the fall was that only a year ago? I suppose so. But it feels, I don't know, they both kind of give me, they give me autumn. Maybe this, I say as I hold up a card combination that feels much more springtime than it does anything else. I don't know, I think, I can't explain it. This one I can't explain super well, but I don't know, I feel like they're pretty autumnal. And then the other 2 in this category, we'll take a look together. So we've got the Caitlyn Madison Tarot and the Margaret Peterson. I'm not sure if the Caitlyn Madison is out of print. It might be, or it might just be like, out of stock while it's being reprinted. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that one, so I apologize for not having all the info for you. And I think what made me want to show you guys these together is that I edged them both in the same color. And to me, this is my favorite color. It's a really cozy color. When I was an angsty teen, this was the color of my bedroom walls, so it was very, very cavey. It was very cavey in there. So let's take a look at them together. I think I've seen the Margaret Peterson in other folks' cozy decks. I think it's a bit of I think it could also fit in the very like gentle nurturing sort of category. But both of these decks kind of give me fall vibes. What do you think? So especially the suit of pentacles, if you look up here at these borders, we've got a leaf, we've got a snail, we've got some forest and mushrooms, and I don't know, a little gem guy there. But I think the color combinations, especially kind of in the backs, they're both giving me a little bit of kind of rustic, jewel-toned, yeah. I don't know if I have ever used these in a reading, so this is kind of fun. I figured I'd just show you guys pairs of decks so we could maybe progress a little bit further, because I had a lot of decks I wanted to show you guys for this. I think Meg from Rose Honey Ritual once said that this type of art is like dentist office art, which I can see that. I can see that for sure. And I don't think that the dentist's office waiting room is a cozy space, but I do think that the reason they have this kind of art on the walls is to try and cozify, is that a word? Make the office a little bit more cozy and welcoming than it intrinsically is on its own. I think the guidebook for this one is also very cozy. This one doesn't have a guidebook. You're kind of on your own for this one. This one also has a little bit of kind of like what I would call like neo-psychedelic vibes. And as we're going to see, spoiler, in my next group of decks, I think that's, another theme that's going to emerge. But look at this. She looks, first of all, very decked out. Look at this sort of, the intricacies of that background. But that throne with all of these critters, so cozy. This feels very cozy to me. It's also giving me a little bit of fantasy. Here, putting on some, I feel like zombie TV shows and like spooky shows in general are very cozy. I didn't make a spooky category, although I could have, because I'm planning on doing another kind of spooky goth deck video for my next basket video. But I certainly could have. I think spooky is another type of cozy. This feels great. I love this card. I think she's a shapeshifter. Yeah, I feel like we've got two shape-shifting ladies here. She turns into the cat, the snow leopard, and then maybe she turns into this snake, and sometimes they're human lovers. Yes, I think that's what's going on. I love it. It's great. Yeah, so those are some more kind of cozy guys. And then, as I sort of hinted at, oh, we're really running out of space here. I'm making a whole big mess. The last category is sort of nostalgic. We're doing kind of 70s nostalgia a little bit here. And some of the decks, like these two decks, this is the Mountain Dream Tarot, and this is the Aquarian. Both of these are actually from the 70s, so maybe we can look at them together. And then these, we've got an Oracle and a Tarot, are kind of, this one's kind of very neo-psychedelic, and this one is, you know, more kind of nostalgic, I guess. So let's get these out. And, you know, I wasn't around in the 70s, but there's something, I think there's something that's cozy about things that are retro, specifically this kind of time period. I think the Aquarian Tarot is super, super cozy. And there's something that's very sort of gentle and soft about B. Nettles' photographic images, on the other hand. Look at that. So cozy, right? Yes. One of the things I've often thought about with the Aquarian Tarot is that I want this deck to be turned into kind of like different types of fabric. So you see there's like a couple different prints, like the sword cape. We've got our little fur thing going on, but like this kind of like these sort of textural details. Ooh, they just like, look at that. Like that, they just really, really kind of stand out to me. Like, look at these textiles. Like, I want this deck to be a fashion show. Like, I want to see these in real life. And there's something about kind of the softness, and a lot of these people are just normies, and they're photographed in a very familiar way. So it feels like we know these folks. Like, you know, we know that kid, right? He lives down the block. So there's this like very gentle familiarity captured in these images. Ah, I love that Fool. So again, both decks, both retro decks. I think they would be very fun to use together. More of this like kind of tapestry-ness going on here. I think I would use these as a pair. Oof. And these wand flowers and these textiles, I mean, come on. So cool. So cool. Anyways, so those are my 70s cozy 70s. We're making that a thing. And then these last two, this one is a tarot. It's a very gentle tarot. We're doing pastels. We're doing kind of little bit of, it feels like a very nostalgic deck. And then your Wise Animal Body is a nervous system health oracle by Serpent Fire, who makes a ton of other decks. But there's, you know, nervous system health is very cozy, right? We're training ourselves how to get out of our fight or flight responses. So we're learning how to calm down. So it's a deck that's full of different kind of like nervous system health techniques. Um, with this like really soft, sort of gentle font, and kind of graphic images. Um, I've not used these together yet, actually, but this has been a fun video to kind of imagine myself using a bunch of cozy combos. So that's been fun for me. But there's something about the people in this deck. This feels like, let's see if I can find some good ones. Oh, like these kind of cards. I don't know, since they're all kind of vintage photography, it feels weirdly like people you would have around at Thanksgiving, which is a cozy holiday, you know. I think it's holidays are cozy, but it feels very, very nostalgic and very gentle and very retro in a way. So this feels, yeah, very, very cozy. And then this is another, you know, it's along with something like Road to Nowhere Oracle. This is another Oracle deck when like when everything else feels like too much and too overwhelming, and you just need the guidebook to tell you to slow down or ground, or, you know, focus on a strong scent, you know. Let's do some vagal breathing, you know. That's all you can really do in the moment. So this is also a very cozy deck. So those were my categories. I had my 5 categories with the bedtime story. Then we moved into kind of weird medieval guys, which brought us to the very nurturing decks. We had our fall cozies, and then we had our little nostalgic retro cozy. And there's one last deck that I'm going to show you guys that I think fits in kind of with a couple of my categories. And that's this one. So again, I think giving decks a bag makes them a little bit cozier and makes them all feel a little bit cozy. So I feel like, you know, a nice spread cloth, a nice tarot bag. I feel like tarot is a very cozy hobby, right? And this is, I made a walkthrough of this recently. This is Sasha Lopez's Oracle deck called When Olga Speaks. This is an advanced copy. The Kickstarter is going to go up again, I believe, at the end of October, perhaps. But we were just talking about like retro decks, and this is a deck that was created from Life magazines from the 1970s and 60s. And this is, you know, Oracle decks, I'll say it again, feel on the whole cozier than tarot. And there's something, oh, I love this card. I think this is my favorite card. But there's something very, very cozy about this deck also. It gives me some, it's like very strong nurturing. We've got a bunch of different archetypes in this deck. And so there's some suits, but something like Tend feels very nurturing. So it kind of like is a combination of a couple of my categories here. And I thought this would be a really great really great deck to end on. We've also got, let's see if we can find him. Let's see, we're looking for someone. We're looking for someone. We're gonna see if we can find him. Oh, I think this is quite possibly one of the coziest cards ever. Like, I can't think of a cozier card than that one. But we were also looking for the storyteller, because I feel like, you know, brings in the little bedtime story aspect. So, yeah, we'll leave it here with some very cozy guys. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of my what's in my basket. So I will see you guys all next time. Bye for now.